Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Picks and Sticks podcast, a fun music podcast where four great friends talk about the music, bands, and songs that they love. I'm Mauro.
I'm Gordo.
I'm Cecil.
And I'm Huff.
And this is Picks and Sticks. On this episode of the podcast, we bring you 10 great power ballads.
Welcome, everybody, to this special 10th episode of Picks and Sticks. You know what? Let's start by thanking all the listeners and recognize that your word of mouth has really helped drive some incredible download numbers. We're currently listed on Apple as a new and noteworthy podcast, so that's pretty cool. We certainly can't get on that list without your help, so thanks very much. Maybe a quick, I don't know, is it happy anniversary? Happy anniversary to the boys, is that what you call it? Is it 10th episode? Is that like an anniversary? I mean, I didn't buy anybody anything, so don't expect a gift, you cheap bastards. But
I got you flowers, man. Jesus.
Oh God, they must have got lost in the mail. I didn't get anything.
Huh.
Just a bunch of dog shit in the backyard, but that's typical.
What is the 10th anniversary? Diamond is what, the 20th? I don't even know what 10th is.
Don't say diamonds. I'm coming up on 20, man. You just cost me like $4,000.
10th is like a bucket of chicken or something.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. I think 20th anniversary is chicken. I think the 10th, I don't know, 10th might be hair, judging by the wig.
What kind
that
of chicken,
Cecil's
though?
got.
Because that's important.
Well,
Is
it's
it
gotta be
Popeyes?
deep.
Is it KFC?
I don't even know.
Man, I'm a sucker for any fried chicken. I like it all. I don't know. Mary Brown's is great. I like KFC. Chicken on the way. Churches.
Doesn't matter, really.
like, what do you-
Fry
like,
that
what do you
stuff
want?
up.
I vote for Popeyes. I say Popeyes.
Yeah. Why didn't we get we should have got that delivered. Now I'm hungry. Is it okay if I eat during the podcast? That'll sound okay, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, there shouldn't be any problems with that. All right, so the 10th episode again. I'm starting to think. Originally, I didn't think it was a good idea for us to go back to Gord's Pouch, but I feel like we're gonna need to. If we don't break out Gord's Pouch on the special 10th episode, I'm not sure when we should. So I know you got something here, Gord, and if it is all about how great you are, I'm gonna snap.
Dude, once you open the pouch, it's hard to put that thing back. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, man.
I don't even know what that means, but
Is it like letting the genie out of the bottle? Is that what
it is?
Yeah, something like that.
So I do have one listener that emailed in, Tim, and Tim says, great selection of music so far. You boys have a diverse range of musical influences, good banter, and a few fun recipes for that lazy Sunday. I'm looking forward to you guys covering punk's most influential bands. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Tim.
Nice.
I think,
so you want some
that's not a
Fall Out
better-
Boy then?
I
I can hook
That's
you
what
up,
he's
Tim.
asking for.
Yeah, I can hook you up. Some good Charlotte. What are you thinking?
So once again,
I feel like Mauro wrote that. Is that kind of a slant towards Misfits? Is that what that is?
Oh, I didn't.
That
yeah,
could
no,
be
I
what
didn't.
happened.
I didn't. Normally, Gord's mom writes the emails, so
Yeah. Apparently, that one must be from Mauro. I'm all over that. I don't even know
his whole family sent in emails, and they haven't listened to one episode.
You guys are so sour about that first email we got, just shredding you. It's sour grapes is what it is. It doesn't go good with the chicken, boys.
I know. I'm very sad. I've tried to get my wife to write in something nice to say how great I am, and she says she's got to keep it, legit, and refuses to do that. She just refuses to lie.
Again, I'll just remind the listeners, our email address is picksandstickspodcast@gmail.com. That's picks, A-N-D, stickspodcast@gmail.com.
Brilliant. So you can email into the show. I know that we are sitting on a few other ones. So if you sent your email in and you're wondering why we're not reading them, it's again, there is a method to this madness. I'm sure it doesn't seem like it, but there is. And I guess I'll also remind everyone too that our playlists are available. So when we do these episodes, that there's a top 10 or top 20 actually. So if you look on Apple Music, YouTube Music, or Spotify, search for Picks and Sticks and the artist you're looking for, you'll get our top 20 songs plus the deep cuts, which you'll hear later in the show. So I guess I didn't even mention that this special episode is hair metal or glam metal, whatever you want to call it, hair metal power ballads. And again, I got to go back to Gord. We're going Gordopedia again. Can you help me out, brother? What exactly is a hair metal power ballad?
Well, there's certainly a lot of gray around this, Huffman, and I know we struggled to define the
gray
parameters.
area.
Oh, fuck. I did find one that I liked, though, and it reads as follows. Power ballad. It's an emotional hard rock heavy metal song, often with a slow tempo, dramatically sung vocals, and many instruments, including acoustic guitars and synthesizers. Power ballads usually start off soft, then the heaviness builds up with the drums and heavy electric guitars.
Yes,
I like
that.
That's a good basis.
Yeah.
I think it might have missed a couple other things that my personal touches to define a power ballad, if it helps you at all.
Sure.
They did hit on the one that it's almost always going to have an acoustic intro.
Yes.
It has to. You got to ask yourself when listening to this song and you're wondering if it's a power ballad, you need to ask.
What about piano?
Piano would work.
Piano helps.
But you need to ask
extra
yourself
points.
a
Keyboards.
very important question. Can a group of people sing the chorus as one like an anthem? If they cannot do that during the chorus, then that's probably not a power ballad.
Ooh, we may have some problems.
Well, we'll see. We'll get into it.
I think we're covered. I think we're good. Maybe some of the deep cuts, maybe some of the egregious inclusions.
Egregious inclusions, yeah.
I got a couple more things at least that would help me sort out if it was a power ballad or not. It has to have a soaring guitar solo. Like
yes.
When you hear that guitar solo, you need to picture an eagle soaring through the sky. If you cannot do that, that might not be a power ballad.
Okay. Yeah.
And of course, at one point you need a man that's wailing, a wailing man. It's very emotional, probably on the verge of tears. I think this is a critical component of the power ballad. I don't know what else you guys had in mind, but
what about the lyrics? I think cheesy lyrics help if you can get cheesy lyrics of some sort. Is that?
I think you're absolutely right. The cheesier, the better in some cases, which I think we'll see here.
Yeah, I had a couple things. Mauro mentioned piano, so that that's always good if you can have cello never hurts. Those types of things. If the video now we're kind of getting into bonus points here, if I may.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
If the video features anybody playing a double neck guitar, I believe there's bonus points for that. I did see my fair share of double neck guitars, which is outrageous. I loved it. And ideally there's a drum fill. It's not complicated. It's very simple. It's da 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 da. Right. Cool. And then into the next, whether it's the chorus or whatever, that seems to be, there's some small variations on it, but it's usually da da, small pause, da da da, or da 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 da.
Dude, you nailed it with the dramatic pause. Absolutely critical.
Right. Right.
Do you have those two songs that sound the exact same?
Which songs?
When we were in the listening, you had two that were back to back that were almost had the same intro.
Oh.
Do you remember what ones those were? That
every
was hilarious.
Song.
No, I had
every song.
I had two that had the same title.
Oh, okay.
I had those back to back just to see if I could rattle more.
I remember you.
Yeah, it was something. It was something like that. No, it was what's the Bon Jovi song? Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So we'll get that. As Gord said, the challenge I found, with the hair metal, if you will, there are lots of power ballads out there. So if you tuned in and you're expecting, what was it, Bonnie Tyler or a Bryan Adams song? They do some wonderful stuff, but you're not going to find that here. There are straight up hair metal bands, right? Warrant and Tesla and Slaughter and Great White and Cinderella, Danger. I mean, you get the idea what we're talking about. And then there's a whole bunch of gray area. So I think what we're going to find is we're going to have a lot of discussion, perhaps some arguments. certainly some points of contention throughout the episode as we try to figure out exactly what qualifies, what doesn't qualify, and why the list is the way that it is. I wrote, honestly, just a couple of questions down that maybe we may answer these throughout the episode. I'm not looking for answers now, but as we go through it, we may or may not answer this. Like how much singing do you think we're going to do in this episode? I'm hoping it's a lot.
No.
There's nothing better than off-key wailing ballad type chorus. I think that'll be great. Can we get through this show without crying? It's a lot of love songs. It's a lot of feelings.
That's going to be tough.
Cecil's got kind of a glisten in his eye already. I feel like we're losing him before we even start talking about any of the songs.
I think these are the songs that killed rock and roll. That's my opinion.
Perhaps.
Wow, that's a dark opening.
A cheesy 80s tune that destroyed rock and roll. And, we're still recovering from the carnage.
Well, you're not wrong, but you know what it may have saved though.
Falling in love, falling out of love, whatever.
Chasing
in a dark
the girl.
room,
Yeah.
going home.
Yeah, a lot of getting dumped stories.
But anyway, I don't want to bring a negative tone to the podcast. Because it's,
why stop now, right? Like you've been sour the whole week listening to this stuff. You're just livid. There's, if we would have allowed, like Rooster from Alice in Chains or something, you would have been, oh, this is the best podcast ever. But no, you're bent out of shape because you're listening to Enough's Enough and Danger Danger and Mr. Big and shit, and now everybody's grouchy about it.
I was listening to Bon Jovi for Christ's sakes. Bon Jovi.
He writes a real nice ballad, and again, we'll get to that. But I feel, if nothing else, did the power ballad genre save the air guitar? I believe it did. like I don't know about you. I got caught a couple times in full stance, full air guitar in the kitchen. Kid walks around the corner and looks at me with that look of just absolute disgust.
I got caught doing a rock kick, and it was awesome. I didn't even care. I didn't even care. I did it again.
Oh my God, that's outstanding! The rock kick. You know what? I maybe that's underestimated. Maybe I need to bring that into my repertoire.
Feels good, man.
Well, let me ask you this: well, when you got in that rock kick in, were you doing housework at the time? So I'm wondering how the power ballads, how does it stack up in the world of housework? Is it effective? Is it ineffective? What's the story there, Gordo?
Highly effective, energizing, in fact, and rock kick friendly. Apparently, it's great for doing dishes, a little vacuuming. You can do all sorts of stuff while listening to them.
As long as you're not near any knives or sharp objects that you could bludgeon yourself with.
Totally agree. Totally.
Rock kick.
You got to be careful.
I'm still rattled with the rock kick. I got a visual in my, when you get a visual in your head and I can't stop. I'm just like, man, just full kind of Sammy Hagar, or, there was that, actually going back to one of the Van Halen episodes, it was Finish What You Started. I think there is a really solid rock kick in that video.
Oh, yeah,
if I do recall.
His jumping rock kicks and jump.
Well, jump for sure, but I thought it was Finish What You Started or something like that. But in any event, I digress.
About day 3, I was putting makeup on.
Nice.
Wow. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I did. You should nail polish. Do you still have, a little bit of
Cecil, that blouse.
I'm wearing women's clothing, so that's look what it's done. Look what it's done to me.
And for those of you that can't see Cecil, you're very fortunate. He's wearing
it's an Aerosmith scarf. I feel like he's got the Aerosmith scarf. The shirt, I don't know, that's like a striper shirt, would you call it? Like that looks like
it's a blouse.
It's a blouse. Yeah, but that was the look. I feel like striper or Dawkin. I feel like it's kind of in that kind of in that area. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it looks nice. It's color coordinated. You got a nice black and gray sort of silver. You got the leopard print.
Panther.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Panther. That's not
Steel
Panther.
Panther.
Steel Panther. All right.
I don't know if the beard's working though. You might shave that.
You should gas that fake beard. Oh, that's real. Never mind.
Get my cat to lick it off.
Right. And I think the other you know what, I think I'm gonna cater to the gamblers out there a little bit. I'm gonna set the over-under line for Misfits references, not counting the one we already have. I'm gonna set the line at 1.5. Actually, no, hang on. You know what? Let's include Alice in Chains. So let's set the Misfits and Alice in Chains combined references. We'll set that line, the over-under, at 2.5. So call your bookie if you want some of that action.
I'll do my best.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe Jerry Cantrell was inspired by George Lynch or C.C. DeVille or somebody.
I don't. Man, Glenn Danzig had a pretty good voice. Maybe some of his solo stuff fits the mold.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I've got a couple of interesting pieces as we get into it, but I think, without making everybody wait too long, I think we kind of know what we're doing in terms of what the power ballad is. There will be some discussion around whether or not certain bands belong and what bands don't. So again, picksandstickspodcast@gmail.com if you're just completely livid and say, how can you not include such and such a band or song or whatever? So to bring everybody up to speed, we're going to talk about a top 10 list, and that top 10 list comes from our own individual list. So we each create a list of 20 songs, and then we enter those songs into our supercomputer. It's got the amazing patented Picks and Sticks algorithm, and it ranks all those songs from 1 to however many. And we just talk about the top 10, and then we'll talk about some other songs maybe that are sprinkled in the 11 to 20, and then we'll get into our deep cuts. So I think now is probably as good a time as any to talk top 10. Everybody's ready?
Let's do it.
As I adjust my sheet. Number 10. Hey, you know what? Congrats, boys. We actually only have 10. We don't have 11 this time. It was close, but we do only have 10. Number 10 is Love Bites by Def Leppard. I found out that I can't even believe it. This was Def Leppard's only song to hit number 1 in the U.S. That blew my mind. But, nobody really had it high on their individual lists. But, we're all bites. In that. The song Bites. Did they change? Song Bites. Oh, sorry. I started singing already. My bad. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
I'll get all my negativity out now, but this song was released in 1987. I think it's the...
No, it was later. Def Leppard's first album came out in 80, which is crazy. If you think about it, when you think of Def Leppard, and again, here's that gray area. Is Def Leppard a hair metal band? I would suggest not, but we did agree to put it on the list. So you got to dial it up. But their first album was recorded in 1979 and released in 1980.
Well, they have the hair, but they have no metal.
They might be the only pure power ballad band on here.
Man, they're good at it. They're definitely good at it. And the proof is in the pudding here, because we do have another entry from them in just a few minutes. But other than that, singability is there. What do you got, Gord?
I was going to say a fun exercise for me, because this was a bit of a grind at times, when you're not doing the housework, because you sit back and, read some of these lyrics, and I think that's appropriate for this. We've got one passage I'll read instead of singing. I think it does it justice just read.
I think you should read it. No, maybe
when
you
should
sing it.
When you make love, do you look in the mirror? Who do you think of? Does he look like me? Do you tell lies and say it's forever? Do you think twice or just touch and see?
That's fucking disturbing.
That's a profound intro.
That's disturbing. disturbing.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like it was fun. When I saw the lyrics, I was kind of like, I'm not really sure what you're getting at. There's some references to masturbation in there. I'm just like, man, this thing's all over the place. But in terms of, it's got that the harmonies. Man, does anybody do harmonies better than Def Leppard? Backing vocals are on point.
Yeah, they do. They do sing well together, I have to say.
Right?
It's not a terrible song, but it's everything that's wrong with rock. Electronic drums, synthesizers. I mean, but like I said, it's not a terrible song. It's not a bad song, but I think the lyrics are like really kind of weird, creepy-ish.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But in terms of, what we're talking about, hair metal power ballads, it comes in at number 10.
Yeah,
Okay,
represent.
Picks and Sticks research team on Love Bites. Sorry,
Yeah.
it was 87, not 81. That was produced and written by Robert John, nicknamed Mutt Lang. It was originally written as a country song, which he brought to Def Leppard, so then they added their rock to it. But the producer, this Robert Lang, produced couple other albums named Back in Black and Highway to Hell.
Oh, I didn't know he did Highway to Hell too.
Damn,
Yeah.
good
And then he
work,
married
Cecil.
Shania Twain, didn't he?
That was him?
What Lang's unbelievable.
I think so.
Good
He
work,
was
Cecil.
good, and then he was good at what he does. But in any event, I don't know if there's anything else to say on Love Bites. I think it's a hell of a power ballad, but it's not as good as number 9.
Heck, no, it's not.
Number 9, Aerosmith, What It Takes. Gordo, you had this. Yeah, this is your number 1 power ballad. So I gotta hear why that is. I hate Aerosmith.
I must have been high.
I hate Aerosmith.
I know Aerosmith was one of the bands that was controversial whether they're going to make it or not. And
Yeah.
I know you hate them, but as far as this song goes, it has everything I like about Aerosmith. I'm not huge on them, but I would say this is the best representation of it. It has to be a power ballad, and Steven Tyler's excellent in here. The band's great. I like how the lyrics kind of reference a few of their other songs, and I just think it's a really good song, and it touches you in the first one on the list that touches you in the feels.
Now, if any Aerosmith should be on, Dream On is the original. I think still their best. It still has to be their power ballad, the most power ballady. I know we discussed before the show, we kind of poo-pooed that one, but if you compare it to What It Takes and Angel, I think Dream On has all the ingredients. No?
Dream On is strong. I don't disagree. I'm a What It Takes guy. I don't know what to tell you.
You like
know
the
what?
accordion?
I didn't have time to listen to their 80 power ballads, but it did remind me of something. I actually got to meet Steven Tyler.
Oh yeah, weren't you on
yeah, I was-
vacation?
I was on vacation in Hawaii, and he plays.
Is it a permanent vacation?
No, I wish. I was buying sunglasses, and I was at the sunglass hut, and I actually needed sunglasses, and I was sitting in the sunglass hut, sort of looking at glasses. And then there's all this commotion behind me, and then of course in Hawaii, like all the shops are wide open to the mall with the glass doors. So there's all this commotion, and someone's like, "Oh, the singer Aerosmith's in here," and I look over, and I was like, "Oh, okay, well, whatever." Kind of was minding my own business. One of the guys was helping me, and like literally a minute later, I turn around. They had kicked everyone out of the store who wasn't like actively buying. So I'm sitting there, and I look out the window, and there's like probably 200 or 300 people standing outside the window looking in the sunglass hut. There's me and Steven Tyler and his entourage. So and maybe one other customer, and I was like, oh, that was my moment where I felt like, oh, this is what it feels like to be a rock star. They're snapping photos, they're doing all this stuff. So anyway, I picked my glasses, and I didn't really want to bug him, but he was kind of near me, and I was like, hey, what do you think? He's like, oh, this is some rockin' shades, dude, or however he talks. I think he weighed like 125 pounds. Like it was bizarre. And I did get a picture with him, and he seemed like a cool dude, but I don't know. He had about 8 pairs of sunglasses. I had one. It was I got to meet him. That's about the only thing I can say about Aerosmith. I do love their old stuff.
Doesn't take much for a rock star though to you think they're a good guy. Like Vince Neil, I saw just out on a lounge and sitting a couple tables from me, and then people start crowding. I'm thinking, oh no, don't bug the guy, don't bug him. And I just assume he'd get pissed off because it seemed seemed like a bad time to interrupt him, but couldn't be a nicer guy. Guys walk up and he's like poses for right in the middle of his beer. He just stops, takes a picture with anyone that walked up to him. So that's small taste of niceness there, and I think he's just a great guy.
Yeah, well, a lot of these guys go to Hawaii. But my dad played golf with Alice Cooper there.
Get out.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Said he was like one of the nicest guys, and he was like a good, he played really good. He's like a 2 handicap or something. He plays
in the Pro-Am Pebble Beach, doesn't he?
He's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. Dream On. If you have Aerosmith, you got to have Dream On.
No, you might be right.
Some credit that as the original Power Ballad.
Yeah, I buy that. I buy that. Because it was from one of their early albums, right?
Actually, I should probably clarify because I did say that I hate Aerosmith. I will say that, and I say that, and I had that song on my list at number 5. So they've kind of won me over with that song. I do like What It Takes, but I will say, as Cease mentioned, some of their older stuff, Dream On, Sweet Emotion, those kinds of things. I really like them as a classic rock band. Just once they hit like Permanent Vacation, they kind of took a turn for me. So once
they got sober.
Yeah, well, once you start getting into Dude Looks Like a Lady and stuff, man, you kind of lose me. But they did put out some incredible stuff. So before you start emailing Picks and Sticks,
Loving an Elevator.
Oh God, yeah. Before the hate mail starts coming in from all the Aerosmith fans, I just wanted to clarify that one point. So, number 8, we go back to one of my favorite bands, Def Leppard again. Bringing On the Heartbreak is number 8 on the list. I freaking love this song.
Jeez, you're going to change your underpants.
What kind of Def Leppard are you listening to that I haven't heard?
No, don't.
I don't think, you know what? If you had any sense, you'd be listening to early... And I mean the earlier stuff. I mean the first album isn't my favorite, but
High and Dry, that song rules.
I can buy that because I went to a Def Leppard concert and it was one of the most painful
What year
things
did you
I've
go?
ever been through.
1999.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I blocked that year out of my life.
Did you have some sort of weird sexual experience happen? Or I don't understand.
I feel like I need to turn my frown upside down.
You know what? I'm gonna force you guys somehow to listen. There's a 3-album span that's really good, and then the rest is no bueno. But I do I
similar to Aerosmith, because Aerosmith I think has some great tunes in their first few years.
Yeah.
So Def Leppard does too, but somehow those bands turned into the biggest cheesy rock bands on the planet.
Well, dude, you know what's funny? So the one of the guitarists, Phil Collen in Def Leppard, if you see, he's like in his 60s, and dude is shredded. He always plays with his shirt off, and it's the funniest thing you'll ever see. This 60-year-old man makes us all look like a bunch of fat pigs. That's not why I like the band, mind you. I don't want to let me clarify that.
I think what did it for me is, as far as the drummer goes, is I was listening to one of their songs and with a buddy, and he made a comment, and I was like, the drummer just has one arm though. You got to give him a break. And then I looked it up, and this was before he lost his arm. Like he just wasn't a great drummer in the first few albums. I don't know, man.
Agreed.
They're just not doing it.
No, you're not listening to Def Leppard for the drummer. That's not it. But I'll tell you, so this particular song, I mean, and Mauro's giving me a hard time about it, yet he had it at number 8 on his personal list. So this is right in line. So Mauro's talking a bunch of shit, but then he's got it at number 8. But
as you said earlier, egregious inclusions. That's where I had to go.
Well, I'll tell you.
Boys. It was a few episodes ago.
Yeah. Anyway,
What? Well, anyway, I mean, lyrically, I maybe I need to get this off my chest. It's the song. It's about a girl that just, she just won't let you into her heart. I remember that from, God, that would have been middle school or junior high, I guess it would have been called. Junior high. I'm looking at you, Vicky. This is the song reminds me of Vicky. So this is on her, but bringing on the heartbreak. She just, for whatever reason, she had the girl mullet. You remember from the 80s? There's like the girl mullet, man. She was unbelievable. She was right in my wheelhouse. Yet I just couldn't close the deal. Anyway, I'll talk to my therapist about that. Let's move on to number 7. Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. Another, and again, here's that gray area. This is an egregious inclusion because I didn't think that Bon Jovi should be part of this, but we decided that they were. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Mauro, I look at his list, he's got Wanted Dead or Alive, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, if that qualifies, now I got to rejig the whole list. And I had this ranked really, really high.
What a great tune. What a great
right?
tune.
It's about the lonely life of a
it.
rock star, Steel Horse, talking about the tour bus. It's a tremendous song.
I love the
I had
song.
it number 3.
I love the song.
Number 4.
I love the song in the beginning of Harley Davidson, The Marlboro Man. That movie opens with this.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Saw it.
He's cruising across through the desert on his bike.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah,
On the steel horse he rode, eh?
he did. He
Wow.
did.
I think a lot of people think this song was for Young Guns, but it wasn't. He actually,
No, that was a different song, wasn't it?
yeah, they approached him to include it, and then he said he didn't want them to, and he wrote Blaze of Glory. But anyway, this song was inspired. I read this, and it was inspired by Turn the Page, Bob Seger, which makes
Really?
sense. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I can.
'cause that's not a bad tune, right? That's a pretty good tune.
Wanted Dead or Alive, if you're talking about songs that people love to sing, and this has got to be one of them. I mean,
Was that Gord Stag? We had the big sing along. Valzen was playing this.
Was it this song? It might have been.
Yeah.
Nice memory. Good memory. Yeah, you're right.
that's right.
We had
Yeah,
a
that's
sing along.
Right?
The people are still suffering
Sorry.
injuries from that stag, aren't they?
So then Brad fell down the stairs and broke his tailbone.
Oh, he did too.
Your brother fell in
down
the ditch.
the hill.
He fell into the ditch, but he held his rum and coke.
Spill his drop.
He didn't spill a
He
drop.
fell like 8 feet, and all you could see was him laying in the bushes in the bottom of the ditch with Ryan Coke. Was it rum and coke or
I
Ryan
forget,
Coke?
can't remember. He looked like the statue.
Sticking up.
like the Statue of Liberty, holding that thing up in there.
It looked like.
And Gavin fell in the fire. Remember, he fell in the
He
fire.
he
was
somersaulted over it. Yeah, it was incredible. I was right there.
anyway, good stag.
Yeah,
Good
well,
stag.
see, and you mention all that, and Gord didn't even have Wanted Dead or Alive on his list. Although, and
And Huffman, you got in a street hockey twist on this.
yeah, I did.
Some of the locals.
Yeah, I did.
With one of the locals.
Well, there was a lot of slashing out there, man. Like you should be in control of your stick at all
He
times.
was like 11.
Huffman's attacking the local kids.
He was a chunky 11.
He was tomahawking dudes. Somebody had to talk to him. Anyway, yeah. Oh, and my last note that I had on Wanted Dead or Alive was double neck guitar. So, again, that brings a little few extra points for that particular song. So, all right, well, let's move on from the Stag into one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. Song number 6 is "We All Die Young" by Steelheart. The funny thing is, so the movie I'm talking about is Rockstar that Mark Wahlberg was in. I watched that movie. It was a tremendous movie, and I mean Jennifer Aniston's in it, and that never hurts. I didn't know that was a real song. I didn't know that was a real song until Cecil put this on the list like 6 days ago.
Is that right?
And he's like, "Oh, Yeah, he puts down the 2 Steelheart songs. It was "We All Die Young" and some other song. And I'm like, I'll give these a listen. I listened to the first one. I'm like, that's all right. I'm not really into this band. I've never heard of them or whatever. And then I heard the first 2 notes, and I was like, are you freaking kidding me right now? I thought it was just some song that they wrote for the freaking movie. It's brilliant.
It's
You know what? You know what's weird about this song? I know nothing about this band.
Me
at all.
either.
Nothing. I've never even listened to them. But the first 2 minutes sounded like a U2 song. I thought they were ripping off U2.
There's a little U2 in there.
huh.
And then it goes into and then it sounds like a Bon Jovi song.
I have a feeling.
So I've created a new name for this song. It's called Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi. Manja, Bon Jovi.
I mean, this song shouldn't be confused with "We Die Young" by Alice in Chains, but "We All Die Young." I don't know anything about this band either, other than I guarantee you this is sung at karaoke a shit ton.
Oh,
Right? How could you not, after a few pints, not be singing this one?
Did you watch the movie?
Song.
Did you watch the movie, Gordo?
I watched that scene you told me. I did not watch the whole thing.
You got to watch the whole thing.
The movie's outstanding.
You got to watch the whole thing.
movie's
I'm telling you.
outstanding. It's great.
You're right, I do. I totally do.
To the listeners, if you haven't watched the movie Rockstar, you have to watch it. And there's a bunch of songs in there, and I guess I should have put it together because there are some other songs in there that you recognize, and then this is kind of their main song, their main anthem. And like I said, I had no idea that it was even a real song.
Okay, so what's the name of the band in Rockstar? Is it Steel Dragon?
Steel Dragon, yeah.
Yes. That's an unreal name.
Well, it is a real name. The funny thing is, so it's the band, the actual band, because I thought that Mark Wahlberg, because he's a decent singer, right? Mark knows what he's doing, and I thought that he actually did the singing in Rockstar, and he didn't. It's actually the dude from Steelheart who acts. He plays the dude. Oh no, that's the other guy. No, he doesn't. He just does the voice. But Zach Wilde is the guitarist, and Jason Bonham's the drummer. Like, they actually got legit dudes, and then they got the bass guitarist he played in Dokken, and I think he was in Foreigner for a little bit. So these guys were legit. Mark Wahlberg was the front man, but he was just the actor. Obviously, they didn't let him sing, and then they actually had the Steelheart guys singing the tunes.
Unbelievable. We'll have to give that a listen.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, you're after poker night on Friday night, Saturday, you're all hungover and you can't move. Just fire up a little Rockstar. It's going to be the greatest thing you ever did.
Done.
Yeah, you know what? All the listeners, that's what you need to do. Listen to or watch the movie, and then tell us what you think if you haven't seen the movie before. But it's an incredible movie. But anyway, I kind of hogged that one. Sorry, boys. If anyone else want to chip in, it was Cecil's idea to add it. So maybe Cecil has something to say. Yeah.
No, just Zach Wilde is in the next one too. We got a back-to-back Zach Wilde song.
It's the Zach Attack.
Yeah.
That's a great transition. Song number 5. We're into the top 5. Mama, I'm Coming Home by Ozzy. Lyrics written by Lemmy.
Nice.
Zach Wilde on guitar. And I'm the dummy that didn't put it on my list, so I'm an idiot. So
I forgot Lemmy wrote the lyrics for this.
Yeah.
I don't. Are you sure he did?
Yeah. He
I think because Oz.
they
sure?
co-wrote Hellraiser too, and they both have a version of it.
I watched
I found it a bit awkward because it's a love song, but it's "Mama, I'm Coming Home." But what I thought was, on his last day of tour, every time before he went home, he would phone Sharon and say, "Mama, I'm coming home." Which then it made sense to me.
That's true, but Lemmy wrote, at least the article that I read, which included a transcript of an interview that they did with Ozzy, was that Lemmy wrote it. They obviously talked about what they were going to do about it. So I think that's where the "Mama, I'm Coming Home" came from. But he wrote 3 different versions in 2 hours. Lemmy did.
Wow.
And sent it over to Ozzy, and then Ozzy just looked at it and picked the one he wanted and adjusted a couple of things, and Bob's your uncle. Number 5 on the Picks and Sticks list. That's all it takes.
Here's my Alice in Chains reference. seeing as you brought it up. But it is Mike Inez playing bass.
Is
I
it
believe
Yep,
on this song, or did
believe
he
so.
actually play in Ozzy's band?
he played. I'm pretty sure he played on this album.
Oh, yeah, I think
so
you're
this,
right.
that's why this album was
That's No More Tears,
you know,
right?
that
Yeah.
No More Tears. It was super, super heavy, and it had Zach. It was Zach's first album on guitar and Mike Inez on bass.
What was the over-under on
musically-
Alice in Chains? Sorry.
It's set at 2.5. We're at 2 already.
Yeah.
I hope you bet the over, boys. Hope the listeners call your bookie. You might have to double down somewhere, because if you bet the under, you're gonna lose your shirt.
This is an interesting song on that album too, because you're right, Mauro. There's quite a few like heavy numbers on there, and then this one's on there, and it's clearly like different than the others. And I mean, it pained me to put Ozzy on this list with these other donkeys, but it's definitely a power ballad, and I think his singing on here, you really hear his range. Like he's singing really well on this song, and the whole album's great, but you hear his voice really come through on this song. So way to go, Ozzy.
It's also another Brit singing about their mom, the Police, Pink Floyd, and now Ozzy. We talked
mother
about that
issues.
He's
earlier.
talking about his wife. He's talking,
He's
about, his
talking
wife.
about Sharon.
He'd call her mama.
Mama.
He's coming home. All right.
He's coming
He's
home.
coming home.
Yeah,
There's a lot of this.
I didn't have this on my list just because I had such a hard time putting Ozzy, even though it was on the eligible list, you know, and it qualified by Picks and Sticks standards. I just couldn't
I
do
get it,
it.
man.
But
I get it. It was
with
tough.
this, with the, you know, you three guys carried it into the top 5. So kudos to you for getting it on the list, because I just couldn't do it. Number four is a band called Slaughter. You would think with a name like that, they'd be a lot heavier than they are. But apparently that name comes from the lead singer. I think his name was Mark. His name was actually Mark Slaughter. Like, that's a legit name. So he called his band Slaughter, and he's a hair metal guy. The song is Fly to the Angels. Cecil, my man, this was your number 2 power ballad. You just found this one. You connected, eh, bud?
Oh, yeah. This one was, I remember laying in bed, listening to the cassette, getting real emotional, singing to this to my imaginary dead girlfriend.
Wasn't ready for that one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
my.
feeling the feelings, almost ready to cry myself to sleep. I
think
love
it was
this
a-
song, like, a lot. I don't know.
I think overall Slaughter's a pretty terrible band, but there's actually some decent musicianship on this.
They're a weird band, because I agree that they're terrible, but
Oh, they're
but
terrible.
the guy does.
How
have a
can you
very
say
unique-
that though?
He's got a
wait.
I'll defend this, but he's got a very unique voice, which I think it comes through best on this song, for sure.
I struggle with his voice
not-
a little bit.
Okay, he's not for everyone.
It sounds like he sounds like a mix between, like, he's trying to copy Robert Plant or David Coverdale, which he does a terrible job of doing it. But I don't know. This song's pretty. Like, this is a pretty damn good song.
It's a great power ballad in terms of power ballads. But I do challenge you. How can you say that how many other Slaughter songs did you listen to?
I've heard it, and this going maybe not many, but I've heard at least
Slaughter's
a dozen
awful.
songs, and they are not as good as this one. I can
Did
say
you-
that
did you-
with a
seriously?
straight face. Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that funny? I thought maybe I might be the only guy that fell down that rabbit hole. Like, I'm trying to stick to we had a list of, close to 100 songs, right? That we compiled. So when the listeners are, to give you an idea, we had like 100 songs that we went through, and I'm sure we missed a bunch. But other than the 100, I mean, I went down more rabbit holes than I could probably even count. Right? Like it gets away on you. But I did. I listened to some Slaughter, and I will say that I enjoyed some of it.
All right.
That was Skid Row for me. Once I listened to Skid Row, I couldn't stop.
wait
Skid
for
Row
it.
Skid Row was definitely it. And that, well, hey, that's the third song. So let's move into Skid Row. I Remember You. Which
Through the sleepless nights. Come on, someone had to
love-
sing it. Dude, what a
Love
voice.
Letters in the Sand, my man. Like, that is, if it wasn't for the late decision, I guess, to include Guns N' Roses, and we're going to get to that in a minute, this would have been my number one power ballad. I Remember You. This is as good as it gets for a hair metal power ballad, in my opinion. Strong vocals, the guitar solo. Snake is just killing it.
Dude, this is everything you want in a power ballad band.
Like when
He's a beautiful
when he-
man singing with a beautiful voice, with a beautiful guitar.
with that
They're
upper
fantastic.
register. And I didn't know that the guitarist was the original Bon Jovi guitarist. So
I
there's a
didn't know that
lot
either.
of crossover when you read about this band. There's a lot of crossover. Like their first tour was with Bon Jovi. The Bon Jovi director of their videos did, I think, 18 in Life and this video. Like there's a lot of they're like buddies with John Bon Jovi.
Dude, did you guys check out? Sorry, go ahead, Mauro.
No, go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, did you guys see Sebastian Bach on Trailer Park Boys? If you haven't, was that not
Tell the
amazing?
listeners about it. This is a must see.
No,
So
I didn't see
So
that.
if you're taking notes at home, so you got to watch Rockstar the movie, and what else, Gordo? What do you got for us?
Oh, I was just gonna say that on the Trailer Park Boys, Sebastian Bach plays himself, I believe, and he. The funny thing is, he starts breaking out singing randomly, like at different points in the episode. It is amazing. Highly suggest you check it out.
Absolutely.
So they have a self-proclaimed stat that this was the, I read this somewhere, the number one prom song in the United States in 1990.
This was
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that too.
Yeah.
our research team is
Playing it at prom.
overtime here. Really?
Playing it at prom, yeah.
Like
I Remember You, man.
even now, or are you talking about?
No. I think it was
Just
back
for
then.
1990.
1990.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes a little more sense. I thought
No, not now.
The guy does
should have
have a
played
good.
this at my wedding.
He does have a great voice though. Like what a range.
I Remember You.
Did you see when he snapped on Strombolopolis in an interview many years ago? It was when Sebastian Bach was on Broadway, and Strombo was interviewing him in a trailer or something, and he asked him a question about being hair metal, glam metal, and he snapped. He's like, hair or glam metal? I can't remember which one, but he's like, he said, I can't remember what he exactly said, but he just snapped. He said, I'm on fucking Broadway, and ripped off his mic and walked out on him.
No shit.
Yeah, that was before Strombolopolis had his show though. Before he was super huge too. So
That's awesome. Way to go, Sebastian.
I will say they looked the part, but I would tell you, like, and I for me, this Skid Row is a heavy band for the most part. Like Slave to the Grind and Subhuman Race are super heavy albums. So they might have looked like glam, but they didn't play like glam.
Yeah, I think they
this
I think
song's
they
obviously-
dabbled in that arena, but yeah, they were definitely not. I would use the word they're not as cheesy as some of the other bands on this list.
Yeah,
no
I think
Slaughter.
Yeah, they're no Slaughter for sure. They they kind of started, and this song, was hugely popular, but it was a being the fans of Bon Jovi, I think that first album has some likeness. I guess it wasn't as heavy, and then all of a sudden they went much heavier. And I read an article where Sebastian, no, I think it was actually one of the guitarists, just said they kind of went more Appetite for Destruction on the next album, which I think was Slave to the Grind. So that kind of makes sense. Right. Speaking of Guns N' Roses, this is the one that this one pains me.
Oh God, here we go.
November Rain coming in at the 2 spot on the hair metal power ballads. I did not want to include Guns N' Roses, but you sons of bitches made a decision that we had to. And if the listeners haven't listened to the Guns N' Roses episode, I already proclaimed my love for this song, so I'm not going to do it again. I had to make it my number one song, which of course bumped down "I Remember You" to number 2, and so on and so forth. But this is the greatest song ever written.
Well, there you go. Have your moment. Have your moment, because this is ridiculous. You know what's ridiculous about this?
Is that you had it number 2?
We had it. Yes. I was forced. My hand was forced here.
I feel you.
We spent half a podcast arguing with you about how it's a terrible song for Guns N' Roses and it was a terrible idea. Now it shows up number 2 on the list.
I know.
So I don't know whether to laugh or bark.
Well, you can't do both. I don't think.
Just mute your mic if you're going to do the second one.
Yeah.
November Rain.
In this context, it's a pretty damn good song.
Dude, it does. I never thought of it in these terms, but it's got all the elements. It's got the piano, right? It's got the wailing guitar solo, soaring eagle guitar solo, I believe is what we're looking for there, Gordo.
Indeed.
A screaming man. There's a screaming man. Absolutely. You know, it's lacking the double neck guitar and stuff, but I think it checks a lot of boxes.
I think you're right.
I don't think Slash has ever played a double neck guitar, has he?
I don't think so.
I hope.
100% he has. I will find a picture and I'm going to send it to you. 100%. It's got it.
No, I don't think so.
Get the research team on it.
Is there a double neck Les Paul?
I don't know.
There is. It's called the More. It's called the More Paul.
We've got 2 lines. We've got the Les Paul and the More Paul.
I tell you,
We want more Paul.
The only issue I have with this song is the freaking the shortened radio version. I hate that when they cut good songs down to fit the radio.
Well, what's the running length of this on the album? Is it 9 minutes?
But I hate hearing
I thought it was 7.
Okay, maybe it's 7.
It's
like CCR.
Nah, it's like 8.5. I think.
CCR,
Anyway.
Born on the Bayou, and Light My Fire, The Doors. Then they cut those long interludes out. It's brutal. Ruins the tune.
Agreed.
Well,
this song is best enjoyed in its entirety. If
absolutely.
If you're gonna dabble in it at all, you better listen to the whole thing.
Or just fast forward to like 6 minutes and listen to all the guitar solos.
Jesus. Did somebody run over your dog today or something? You are the sourest, most surly. You just... 3 of us don't want to, or one of us doesn't want to be here. The other 3 certainly, well, maybe we do, maybe we don't. We're talking about power ballads, but Jesus H.
I'm just offering constructive criticism towards the song.
Well, I
still have it.
My point just being that you had it listed number 2.
As far as power ballads go, I think you're right.
There's only one power ballad better than that, according to the Picks and Sticks list, and according to Mauro, because yours line up. You and Cecil both had "Home Sweet Home" by Motley Crue as the number 1 power ballad, and you know what? It's a great pick. I can't necessarily argue it. We all had them in the top 10. Gordo, you had this at number 2, so somebody take it away.
I see now. I'm bringing a positive vibe.
Okay, it's about
Because
time.
Vince kills it on that.
Oh, yeah.
Just kills it. Now, mind you, the lyrics are not very deep. Because I think it's about just going home after 2.
Yeah.
But it's the way he sings.
just-
It's not just what he's saying; it's how he's saying it.
I tell them my kids all the time.
I got
That's what you're saying.
So I got to see the Crew live on this tour. This was a Theater Pain tour we're talking about back in '85. So I was like 14.
Didn't Skid Row open for them?
No, I don't think they were around at
No?
this time. I can't recall who opened, but this was my first concert experience. And for whatever reason, my parents let me go to this with just my buddy Browner. And I got to see Home Sweet Home live. It was totally amazing. Smoked my first joint that night too with these like 30-year-old ladies. That's another story. But the point of the story is I got to see them live, and this song live holds up really well. It was great. It could have been the Weed too. I don't know, but great first concert.
And they did a version with Chester Bennington.
Did they?
Yeah, they re-recorded a version, and
It's not as good.
I can tell you right now, it's not as good. I've never heard it.
it's pretty good.
I don't see it.
It's
I don't
actually
see it on
pretty
our
good.
list. Can't be that good.
Well, no, it's because it's not.
Hey, Carrie Underwood
I
covered
understand
this,
why
and
it's
she
not,
can't hang
but-
with Vince.
No, Vince just kills it.
And the
on
funny
it.
thing is,
I
Tommy
meant to
Lee-
listen to that, Cease. I meant to listen to that, Cease. I read that and I was like, I got to hear this, but I never
Well, I
did.
heard it.
Did you listen to it?
I heard it a lot because it was the outro song or whatever. No, when someone on American Idol gets kicked off, that's the song
was
that
it?
they play. Yeah, Sue.
Oh, the clever producer, eh?
Yeah.
I'd have to say, of all the songs on the list, this is, even though it's a power ballad, it's like a pump you up tune. Gets you like pumped up.
I agree. It has that unique quality. It makes you think deeply, and it brings you up. And Tommy Lee's playing the piano. Is he better than Axl? I don't know. But you got a drummer
he?
playing the piano.
Oh, I think he might
And
be.
I remember live.
I think he might be.
He had to they'd hold that note, and then he'd sprint up to his set and continue the song. It was pretty awesome.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. All right. Well, I mean, that's Home Sweet Home. That's the number one song. So if we count it back down from number 10, we got at 10, Love Bites by Def Leppard. Number 9 is Aerosmith, What It Takes. Number 8 is Def Leppard, Bringing on the Heartbreak. Number 7, Bon Jovi, Wanted Dead or Alive. Number 6 is We All Die Young by Steelheart, not Alice in Chains.
No.
5 is Mama, I'm Coming Home by Ozzy. 4, Fly to the Angels by Slaughter. 3, Skid Row, I Remember You. Then November Rain. Then Home Sweet Home. That is your 10, and that takes us to the part that we call egregious exclusions and points of contention. It could be egregious inclusions, as we mentioned off the top, because, and not that we want to belabor the point, where, you know, the Guns N' Roses and the Aerosmith and there's some other bands that we could argue, but so I had Guns N' Roses written down as one of my points of contention. I'm not going to go there. You know, I think one of the egregious. Well, I don't know who's got
I got one, brother.
Gord's okay. What do you got?
I'm beside myself. I cannot believe that the Scorpions did not make the top 10. Are you kidding me? We're talking Winds of Change. We're talking Still Loving You. Man, they got a whole catalog of power ballads.
Still Loving You is a strong song. I didn't feel it had sufficient power.
They're the Scorpions. They define power. The hell you talk? German metal, my friend. I'm surprised they didn't make it, and they didn't. I don't think they even made it in our top 20, did they?
Not only didn't make it, they didn't show up anywhere on anybody's.
Yeah, they're not. They didn't make the top 20.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is with the Scorpions. I never could get into them. I don't know. Like,
No.
they're like really popular and they've had great.
As soon as I hear that whistle, Sue.
Yeah, I'm not big. I'm not big on whistling songs. Like even Patience, it's not my favorite. I'm not big on. Yet I do find myself whistling it from time to time. So maybe,
Axl loves whistling.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I like that whistle.
Yeah,
I like Axl's whistle.
Loves whistling.
Oh, dude.
My egregious omission is probably the fact that there's not as much hair metal. There's more, I'll say, in the 11 to 20 range, but I was expecting a little more hair metal, like Tesla is one that I can't believe didn't make it. Warrant.
How about? Can I throw another one at you, man?
Yeah.
How about Poison? Every rose has its thorn.
I was surprised
that's right. That came in at number 13. That's a great call. That didn't make it. I was surprised that there weren't more. actual hair metal bands. Cinderella, there wasn't a lot of. I struggle with
my
that
God,
guy's
are they
voice.
horrible?
That guy's voice kills
They
it.
are terrible. That could be one of the worst bands.
Well, I'll raise you. I'll raise you a white lion.
White Lion is awful. Oh my God! When I read that white lion song, I'm glad you brought that up, Gordo. When I read that, what's the name? What was the name of that song? When the Children Cry or something like that. It was like one of the best power ballads. It was on every list that I looked at when we were looking for songs to include, and I was like, I got to hear this song because I never listened to any White Lion. I listened to it twice, and I just didn't get it.
It's so
I just
bad.
didn't get it.
Twice?
I can't believe you made it through.
Well, because I listened to it the first time and it was so bad, I thought I must be missing something. So I gave it a day and I listened to it again because I thought, sometimes you got to be in the right mood. Mm-hmm. So I was like, different day, different listening. I'm going to give it another go. And I listened to it again. I was like, geez, it might be even worse than it was yesterday.
Guaranteed it was.
Yeah, no, that was no good. I did not enjoy that.
Does anyone have any other legit, egregious submissions? How about Kingdom Come?
Well, it's no.
Dude.
Oh my God,
Dude, that song is awful. I had a note written down. This was the note that I had beside mine. I said, it starts off really, really rough. If you hang in there, it's okay. That was the note. That was the note that I had written down. And when I saw it on your list, I was like, oh my God. Again, maybe I'm missing something. I go back and I listen to it and I was like, it's awful.
Yeah, it does not.
How does it make your list? Was that a pity vote? Did somebody pay you? Do you know a guy in the band? What's the story here?
I think I ran out of bands, man. I don't know what the hell happened. It's a horrendous call at any rate.
It is. At the very least, here's my egregious omission. This is my point of contention. How does Damn Yankees not make it on anybody's list other than mine?
Oh, they're awful.
That song, High Enough, is incredible. If for a power ballad and it's got double neck guitar, Ted Nugent's playing some double
high
neck.
Enough
what?
To think that sounded good.
Oh, can you take me high enough? Are you out of your mind?
Oh,
Jesus. I got another one.
I do.
Sorry, go ahead, Mauro.
Well, I was going to say, in the top 10, mostly we have bands that are actually legit bands. But a lot of these hair metal bands they're freaking awful. And but the one omission that I think I would have switched up is Don't Cry by GNR.
Ugh.
I think that song is phenomenal.
Doesn't qualify.
It's got Shannon Hoon. Well, it does.
I know. I
qualify.
couldn't put it on the list. It was bad enough you made me put November Rain on there.
It's got the best guitar solo of the bunch. And if I could go back and redo my list, Don't Cry would be probably in my top 5.
Thank God. Because if we would have done this and had 2 Guns N' Roses songs, I don't know if I would be able to go on.
Well, what if I said there's 2 Ozzy songs? What about Close My Eyes Forever with Lita Ford and Ozzy? How did that not make the list? What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, Lita.
Dude.
I don't know.
Lita.
Any other takers on it? Cecil's awfully quiet. I feel like
Not sure how that one goes.
Well, it goes badly at one point.
Gord, could you sing a little bit for Cece?
You know what? I don't think I can. I got a bit of a sore throat here, but maybe afterwards.
All right. Well, that was that's not.
And In a Darkened Room by Skid Row. None of you had it.
Oh God,
That's a great tune.
That's not bad. That's a good call, actually. That's a good.
It's not a happy song.
It's really funny. So that's the Lynch Mob, right? Is that
No, Skid Row.
No, that's the Skid Row.
which song? Oh, In a Darkened Room.
Yeah.
What song was I thinking of?
I don't know.
God,
You're right, Mauro. That is not a happy.
The Thunder song. The Thunder song that came in 11th was pretty good.
Are you?
Oh, that was it.
Love Walked In. Love Walked
kidding
In.
me?
Oh, I was thinking of Dawkin. Sorry, I got my bands mixed up. Yeah, we can definitely Thunder. I've never heard of that band. I don't know if I'd ever heard that song. So we're talking about the band is called Thunder. The song is Love Walked In. Never heard of the band. I started looking at them, and they've got like 12 studio albums.
They have 12?
Yeah.
Who'd you say?
12
Thunder?
albums.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
there's
called-
still. Yeah, there's
The guy's got a great
like
voice.
there's like 10 on Apple Music, but there's like 3 in the last 10 years that aren't on Apple Music. Last one's like 2017 or something.
I saw that. Yeah. I was like, they're still releasing. Like, I've never heard of this
I
band.
listened to some of their live songs, and they're not too bad.
That song rocks. Now, the beauty of it is, again, if you check out our podcast playlists on Apple or YouTube Music or Spotify, this will be on there because it's number 11, so it will be on there. So you got to give that a listen. But that's an incredible song. Unless anybody has anything else, I think we should transition into the deep cuts.
Well, I only have one more thing to
Oh
say.
God. Okay.
And thank God we didn't include Metallica with these. It's bad enough to disrespect Ozzy, but Nothing Else Matters and Unforgiven are two amazing power ballads that maybe Metallica's not hair metal, but I guess they're not emissions because we didn't include that Metallica. But I will say, I have to say it, those two songs would be up right near the top for me.
Yeah, it was a slippery slope, and I know it gets confusing. And you know, again, listeners, we had more conversations about this. It's such a slippery slope because there's, you know, then you're talking, well, Iron Maiden's got, I mean, almost every metal band put out a power ballad at some point in the late 80s, you know, early to mid 90s. Like it was kind of the thing to do. So unfortunately, we had to kind of cut it off at some point. We decided to try to keep it to more hair metal type things, and Metallica, for all intents and purposes, even though they went, you know, soft, they're still kind of a thrash band. Anyway, I don't want to rehash the whole thing, but I'm glad you brought that up because I'm sure people are saying, where's Nothing Else Matters?
I'm not.
Maybe we need to do a follow-up and just do power ballads and include everything. So then we start getting into, you know, the
Foreigner.
Yeah, Foreigner, you know, Night Ranger, like all that stuff. Maybe
Okay, stop.
Maybe we
stop
need to
it.
do that.
Stop
Okay.
it.
Okay.
We are not
Save
we are
that
not
for
doing this
episode
again.
200.
We are not doing this again.
Episode 2000.
Hey, you never know.
You never
Maybe
know.
we'll get a lot of requests, and you know, we got to give what the people want.
Well, you might have a point there. All right.
If you're in the right mood, the playlist is it's pretty good.
It is pretty good, and that's
I have to say.
you know, and
You just got to be in the right mood, you know, put out the bearskin rug, turn on the fireplace,
glass of
light some
rosé.
candles. Yeah, bottle of rosé or 10.
Oh man.
All right, let's talk deep cuts.
Nice.
You know, one of the,
Turn down the heat and turn up the light.
What's happening?
Jesus. I don't know where that came from, but
Sorry, Huff, did you say we're on to deep cuts? Because I'm ready, buddy.
yeah, I'm rattled. That was
Okay.
Shallow
All right.
cuts. Let's call it shallow
no
cuts.
way.
I do have a couple deep cuts, and one was really surprising. I had never heard the song, but I was a fan of the band, so that's confusing to me. But it was "The Price" by Twisted Sister.
Worst guitaring ever.
Maybe, but the Dee Snider, the song itself is actually really good, and it's so out of place for Twisted Sister. Like it's like a thoughtful.
I
song.
listened to that song, and it's got great drumming.
Yeah.
But that's why you like
I think
it.
the drumming's on point, absolutely, but the
the
singing's great. Like
The guitaring's awful.
that's
awful.
the "We're Not Gonna Take It" guy, and he's singing a power ballad.
The song's not bad, but it's like anyway. I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh, but it's pretty bad guitar playing. The rhythm guitar playing is not Malcolm Young. Like
Just like a guitar player, all that matters is the guitar, right?
Yeah, well,
You're
I appreciate There's drum fills every 8 seconds in that
Well,
song.
you got to compensate for the lack of talent on guitar.
Exactly.
That was
Not a bad tune.
yeah. What else you got? Is that you got
one
more there, Gord?
I got
All
one
right.
more, and that's it. I got and I hate to lump this band in, but Silent Lucidity by Queensryche, who were kind of like a progressive metal band. They kind of remind me of like, maybe what like Tool evolved to a few years later. But I thought that was a pretty good power ballad. So check that one out if you want to hear something that's maybe not as cheesy as some of the other ones on the list.
Yeah, they're a mix of like Tool and Slaughter.
That's a great call, actually.
That's it. You know what? I
And Silent Lucidity. It's like the opera. It's like
Mauro, I want to punch you in the face right now. That was it. That's a great pick, Gordo. That's a great pick. It's a good tune. It's a song about lucid dreams, and not that talk to my therapist about that
musically
too.
a good band.
What's that?
Musically a very talented band, but they're a bunch of weird dudes because the singer left. They got in a big fight, and this was just recently. The singer released a Queensryche album, and then the band went and released a Queensryche album with a different singer.
That's weird.
There's 2 Queensryche albums like in the last few years that are,
And they're completely different.
And when really
Yeah.
they're
like, fuck you, that's my name.
and at this point there should be
it's my name.
no Queensryche, and yet there's 2. So that's confusing.
Oh, maybe their lead singer is as annoying as you are tonight.
I doubt it.
That's how dudes get kicked out of bands. Just saying.
Boys, I'm bringing a sense of reality.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead.
Again, I've promoted the playlist. It's a good playlist.
For the love of Pete.
I got it.
Let's hear yours, Huff.
Well, I didn't include Tesla on my list at all. And one of their popular songs is Love Song. And I didn't realize that this is going back to what C said. This is the exact opposite of what was it, November Rain, or that you're talking about. There's a radio edit. What I hated about Love Song when I heard the album version, because it's like 6 minutes or something. There's like a minute and a half of just, I don't know, self-indulgent guitar that brings absolutely nothing to the song. So I had a hard time with the song. Then all of a sudden I found the radio edit, and the radio edit is widely available, obviously, and it gets to the meat of the song. Mm-hmm. And that song is unbelievable. So I'm adding Tesla Love Song. Secondly, I got to bring some more hair into the conversation. Warrant, Heaven, right?
Warrant. Yes.
Dude. That power ballad is unbelievable. It's an absolute outrage that it's nowhere on anyone's list. Other than mine. I had it at number 10. But it's a song about heaven being right here on earth as long as you're with your girl. Maybe I'm the only romantic of the group, but boys, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's an absolute gem. It's a beautiful song. And then finally, I'm going to add a third, just because it's Dokken, and I love to say Dokken. A song called Alone Again. And George Lynch was the guitarist at that time. Then he took off and he did his own thing. And I was like, I don't know, is George Lynch like a real guitarist or whatever? So I had a research team look at it. And this popped up on Google. I got to read it to you. George Lynch is an American hard rock guitarist and songwriter. Lynch is best known for his work with heavy metal band Dokken and his post-Dokken solo band, Lynch Mob. Lynch is considered to be one of the most influential and famous 1980s metal guitarists. He is known for his unique playing style and sound. And I was like, well, I've missed the boat on this dude. This guy's like basically Eddie Van Halen. And then I looked at where that came from. It comes from GeorgeLynch.com.
That's amazing.
You got to promo yourself, boys. So just based on that alone, I feel like you got to get some George Lynch up in here.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Wow. Oh, I don't even know what to say after that.
Cease, have you got what have you got for deep cuts?
Oh, let's get this over with. I'll say Flying High, Michelle. Enough is enough.
Yeah, enough is enough.
Someone from Guns N' Roses, is it Adler, played with them?
Adler?
Is it Steven
No
Adler?
idea.
Is that his name?
I didn't know Enough is Enough it was even a band until 2 weeks
It's
ago.
not enough is enough. It's enough
It's
enough.
enough.
Was that before the heroin or after?
It's got to be during. It's got to be
after.
during.
If enough is enough.
Yeah, man, I'll join your band.
And then a horrible song I can never get out of my head. Don't know what you got till it's gone. Cinderella.
Oh, terrible. You're
Plus
right.
That song I do like, Only My Heart Talking, Alice Cooper. It's not much power in it though.
I like that song too, and it's got what's his face from Aerosmith, Steven Tyler, on that outro, right? Like it's I don't know. I think it's a great tune. I'll add it to the list if you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Wow, that's a
Mauro.
That's a monster.
Mauro's going to
list.
close this out. This is going to come off the rails. I'm scared.
No, because after all that ridiculousness, I'm picking a Wasp tune. It's called "Hold On to My Heart"
That
by Wasp.
okay, I need some explanation because that song is
It's
horrible. Horrible. That's
It's
a
a
horrible pick.
It's a great song. It's great guitar.
Oh,
It's got
God.
great lyrics, and the vocals are very well done. It may be the only Wasp tune I ever listened to again my whole life, but it'll be on the playlist.
All right. Well, the good news is it's going to be at the end of the playlist. So for those that are listening
Hold
to
on
it,
to my
you
heart.
can gas it.
Talk about romantic. Hold on to my heart.
So there'll be 20,
the most-
26.
It's my most precious thing I have, and I hold on to it, man. Hold on to it.
Is it? Yeah. Are you going with one? You're just going out with a bang. The Wasp is the way to go.
Well, "Screaming in the Night" by Crocus is a pretty good song. It's pretty solid. It's pretty. Oh, it's good too.
Wasp and Crow.
Now next to Choir Boys.
Wasp and Crow.
Well, once.
Stop talking.
I had to take.
That's amazing, Mauro. After all that, after that, you came up with those two. That's amazing.
Oh God.
What?
Now I know why you hated this so much, because all the good songs you didn't like. Oh my God. So
Well, you guys just didn't see it my way. I was the odd man out on this one.
all right. So
But anyway,
again, I'll remind the listeners that you can get our playlists on those. I can't even on the three platforms, but there's 27 songs. The good news is after 25, you can just turn it off, so you don't have to listen to Wasp and Crocus because they're at the end. Okay, so that's it.
Once we add,
for the love of
hold
God,
on.
stop talking. I
Well,
swear to God, I'm going to drive over there and punch you in the face.
Well, there was a really good Rat tune as well. So, giving yourself away. But anyway, I had to take Rat off when we added Bon Jovi. So
Really? Bon Jovi bumped
I'll
out Rat. So Rat was
Jovi
21 on the list, hey?
yeah. But anyway,
All right, well, clearly
Any Killer Bees?
we Killer Bees. Wasn't Killer Dwarves?
You mean
Killer
Striper?
Dwarfs, I mean.
Or do you mean Striper?
Striper. Killer Bees was that was an Anthrax album, wasn't it?
Stupid.
They're restless.
Anyway, for the love of God, let's put everyone out of their misery. That is the hair metal / glam metal power ballads episode. We sure hope you enjoyed it. I sure as hell did. If you did, please tell your friends, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers about it. As I mentioned off top, we do appreciate your support. And don't forget, you can email the show at picksandstickspodcast@gmail.com. And we may even read your email on an upcoming episode. We will return at some point with Gord's Pouch, so you can get in on that. Be sure to subscribe, I guess, so you don't miss an episode. You find us really, as everyone says, you can find us on Spotify and Apple, YouTube, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and Alexa. We are literally everywhere. Mauro, you had mentioned a potential giveaway. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we have a Google Nest Hub Mini. It's the small screen.
What?
Yeah, brand new. Brand new Google Nest Hub Mini that we want to give away to one of our lucky listeners. And I think you had I thought you had a trivia question that we were going to ask.
We do. So we are legit giving this away. So make sure you pay attention. So the trivia question is, in what recent episode did Gord threaten to hand in his letter of resignation? So when I say recent, we're not going to make you listen for the new, particularly for the newer listeners. You don't need to listen to all 10 podcasts. So when I say recent, out of the last 4, so Police, Beastie Boys, Van Halen, or Interrupters are your choices. To enter, you can email us, as we said, at picksand6podcast@gmail.com. Make sure that you include your name and mailing address. You can also find us on Instagram if you prefer. In order to, in order to enter for this, you can DM us or give us a follow. Ideally, that would be awfully cool. We'll do the draw, I imagine, sometime around Christmas. So make sure you get in on that. Again, that question is, in what recent episode did Gord threaten to hand in his letter of resignation? So that is it. Next episode, we are going to bring you the band Oasis. We're going to get back to some normal music, some great music, some outstanding musicianship, hopefully up to the standards that Crocus has set. And so thank you very much for listening. And until next time, see ya.
See ya.
See ya.